What's up, guys? I got another Kendra G reaction video for you. So let's get started.
Oh, we have a lag, so
I'm
let's just wait.
sorry.
Ooh, child. Get the phone together. I'm gonna package you and then
Okay.
wait 8 seconds before you answer. Taylor, Missouri, 30, is an Aquarius, has an 8-year-old, and works at ER. What kind of man you looking for? Wait 8 seconds.
Um,
Missouri.
just someone who's actually looking for a relationship, somebody who isn't just looking for sex, someone who's financially stable. Because, I mean, like, it's really hard to find men when you're, like, serious about dating. There's a lot of people who will sleep with you, a lot of people who will waste their time with you, but they don't want to be serious. They don't want to open up. They don't want to connect. They don't want to take the time to really get to know you as a person. And I feel like I have a hard time with that. Guys will I have guys in my inbox all the time. They'll try to talk to me. But it's not like anything deep. And I feel like that's really hard, especially black men. And I know a lot of people are gonna give me shit, but I don't really date black men. And I'm gonna tell you why. So I grew up in the army. My dad was in the military, so I've lived like all over. I'm used to different nationalities, and like growing up and then getting stuck here in Missouri when my parents divorced, I noticed that a lot of the black men here just don't have a lot going for them. Unfortunately, they don't want to work, they don't want to provide, they don't want to be men. And I know that sounds bad. It does, but that's just my reality. A lot of my friends give me shit about it.
I will say this, right? Here's a couple points. I believe everyone should. I mean, your preference is your preference, right? You want to date within your race, you date within your race. But remember, the more restrictions you put on your dating life, the smaller your pool is. It is fine that you want to date within your race. Do not complain that there are so little men, right? They're so, like, saying, oh, there's no good men. No, when you only date a certain type of men, then you do not know if there are, then you do not know if there are no good men because you only date a few men. So I think that's ridiculous. I would say that it is better you date on morals, characters, something deeper, right, than just your race. Just to expand your dating pool. Second, now, let's say this. I don't know her, right? I mean, barely got through the video. But to say that there are no black men that will, provide and protect and work, then I would say that you don't attract those type of men. Especially those type of black men. Because you gotta say this, right? The problem with women when it comes to dating is that they don't approach men. So you don't necessarily approach the men that may work, that are probably providers, right? You're not approaching a man that's working in a law office. You're not approaching a man that's, I don't know, out buying a car, out buying groceries. Because I mean, if a man buying a whole bunch of groceries, maybe he works, right? Stuff like that. So you're not approaching men. You walk in the streets and a man is approaching you. You're at a bar and a man is approaching you. You're at a club and a man is approaching you. So you only get whatever it's approaching you, right? The type of men that attracts you are, in her words, broke black men. Those are the men that are approaching you in these places. So to say that there are no black men that do it, then I would say that no, there are plenty. It's just that you don't attract them. The men that do work, the men that do provide, just don't come up to you and talk to you. That's the thing. So that's the problem with a lot of women, that you are stuck with how you operate in the dating market by only receiving and not actually not the one who's, you're the one who, you're the prey, right? You're not the predator, right? You don't go after. You're not the hunter. So, that's what you get. So that's the thing with the fallacy when it comes to women dating. because that's the market you work with, right? The men that approach you are the men that don't work, don't protect, don't provide. That's what you attract.
Because I date outside of my race, and I feel like I would like to be with a black man if I could find one who had their shit together or who was ready for something serious. I'm just being honest. A lot of the black men here, they say they want to be like with a woman who wants them to hold them down, but it's like when we need them to hold us down, they're nowhere to be found. And a lot of the men here of other nationalities, whether that be white, Indian, Asian, they all have their shit together. They all have good jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing about it is, the problem with that is even the ones that do sometimes have their shit together and have good jobs, they're on the same page. They just want sex. They don't want anything serious. So it's still hard for me to date. And it's not that I haven't tried to date black men, because I definitely have. And it just kind of ends up the same way. They just want sex. They don't want anything serious, but they will lie to you and tell you that they do. And then you'll end up realizing they don't really want anything. So I'm at a point now where I'm not having sex with anyone until we are in a committed relationship. I feel like in the past I've made mistakes and I like someone and I give up my body too soon because I think it's going somewhere that I find out, okay, it's not. So, and that's with all races of men. I'm just gonna kind of just stick to like, we're gonna talk, date, see how it goes. Once you tell me like we're in a committed relationship, then I feel like that.
Let's say this, right? Women, and I support that. Don't just give your body willy-nilly, right? Don't just give your body to any man that hollers at you. So I think that more women should only, at least give their bodies to a man that they're in a committed relationship with. Now, second, she already has a child. So she's shown her past doesn't really hold a lot of weight in a man's eye. So he's like, okay, so now I'm paying for the mistakes of other men. That's just the thing, right? So now I'm gonna have to give you commitment when other men in your past didn't need to. So, I mean, you are putting more pressure on me than you did in your past. That's why the past matters to men, because it shows you what kind of person you are. So you didn't have no respect for yourself before, and now you do. Oh, great! Yeah, that's commendable. But it's kind of late for you to now do that, because now you already a single mom. I would say it's also a thing where women don't understand that when it comes to the dating process, right? Let's say you go on a date with a woman, a man, right? You both are trying to get to know each other, and that's an equal standing. Problem, right, is that the man is always the one who's paying. So even though you're kind of on equal standing, you both trying to get to know each other. His is at the work higher because he's paying for that. So he's paying for your time, yet what are you doing for his time? Nothing. You're using his time. So that's usually what men think, well, okay, then at least sex is worth the use of my time. Now, if she's a type of woman that says, oh, I will go 50-50, I pay for my meal, you pay for your meal, then it's equal standing. Perfect. Right? I would say that's perfect. That shows you that, that you are serious, right? You're not using a person, because I'm saying this. Men do not want to be used, right? They want to be needed, but not used. It's the imbalance, okay? So if she has that train of thought, that way of thinking, that's perfect. If she's not into using men, she wants a genuine connection with a man. That's perfect. That's what women have to understand. Make it where you're both receiving the same amount of value, right? You're giving him your time, he's giving your time, right? His time to you, right? It's an equal exchange of value. You're not wasting money on me, and I'm not wasting money on you. We're both paying for our meals. We're using this time to just get to know each other. Don't make a man feel used. And a lot of women don't understand that, right? Oh my God, he has to pay for that first date and all that stuff. But he's not gonna have sex unless we're in a relationship. What? So that mean that's a maybe, right? It's a maybe we'll be in a relationship. Maybe you'll like me, I don't know, 3, 5, 6, 7 dates later. So I'm gonna paying for these dates while you may like me, you may want to be in a relationship with me. Hell with that shit. That's what women don't understand.
That's when the sex will come. So
I definitely agree with your rule of committed relationships and then have sex, because I feel like that is, I always say this about, there's a pool of men that will have sex with you, but it doesn't mean that's also the pool of men that will be in a committed relationship. So kudos to you. I agree with that rule. Let me ask you this. When did you stop dating black men? Is this a new rule you just, hold on, you gotta wait 8 seconds. Oh, wait, remember you gotta wait 8 seconds. I don't want us to get cut off. Did you just stop dating black men?
It's not that,
or is this something?
I'm sorry.
Okay, honey, you gotta wait 8 seconds.
I just all of a sudden.
Wait, girlfriend, hold on. You gotta listen, because we have a lag, and if you over talk too soon, your response won't come out. So the question is, when did you stop dating black men? Wait 8 seconds.
Okay, so I didn't I'm just gonna stop dating black men. I primarily tried to avoid black men here because of what I dealt with them. Like the things that I encountered with black men. Like recently, I dated someone who's black, and I found out he was sleeping around on me with like 3 different women. And me and him started out as friends first, and then we had a sexual relationship. And he lied to me, told me that he was.
That's the thing, right? She just recently do it. Like, you gotta think about how a man views shit. He's gonna view it as that I feel like I'm being used. I feel like I'm being punished, right? You just recently dated a man and you gave him your body, right? A terrible man, a toxic man, right? A man that you supposedly said is your friend, and you gave him your body. Me, you said I will only get your body until we're in a relationship. Whoever know how long that would be, right? So I'm going to put in the effort to get a relationship with you, while the man who didn't have a relationship with you, was just friends, got your body. It's like it's the unfairness, right? It's the making a man work for it when you didn't make men work for it in the past. It's just how men think, right? And it's like it amazes me that women don't think that maybe you should be in a relationship before you have sex. I mean, like, I was like in my teenage years and thought that too. I mean, I don't understand how modern women think, okay, we don't have to be a girlfriend, boyfriend, you can still have sex. What? I mean, what? It amazes me. Women don't think, oh, it doesn't have to be a relationship yet. We can still have sex. And then you wonder why men just treat you as sexual objects when you yourself view yourself as that, right? You don't think that your body has value enough to actually be in a committed relationship to be used, right? So you think that a man could use you without having commitment towards you. That's ridiculous.
Committed to me, and it seems to be the same story with a lot of my black friends. They're with a black man, they sleep around on them with multiple people, have kids on them, things like that. My white friends, they don't deal with any of that. I know it's stereotypical, but it's just a different world. Like with the black men that we deal with versus my friends who deal with white men or their white husbands. They're not out here embarrassing them, having babies on them. They pay their child support, they take care of their kids. I'm being honest. The black men here, they don't do that. And then it's like when you date outside of your race, people want to berate you or make you feel like, oh, you need to hold the black man down. But I'm like, they don't give a shit about us half the time, but you want us to hold them down. And if I found a decent black man, then yeah, I would. It's not about skin tone. It's not about color. It's not about any of that. I'm very attracted to black men. If I could find one who had the shit together, then it wouldn't be a problem. And like I said, I just dealt with one. We have been friends for years. He presented himself to be this great black woke.
That's funny too, right? I go back to what I said. One, focus on the morals, not about the color of your skin, right? The morals and principles. So you could open up your dating pool bigger. Two, it's not about her finding it. It's because men approach her. She's not approaching men. So she's not out finding men. She's out receiving men, right? Receiving the men that come up to her, that found her. That's the thing women don't understand. You're not actually going to find men because women don't do it. Maybe 1 out of a million, right? 1 out of, I don't know, a couple 100,000 go up to men and ask them out. Women in general, in mass majority, they just sit there and men go up to them and ask. So that's the problem with women's dating method. Two, kind of shows what it's bad, but she's kind of an idiot. An idiot in the sense that if you said you've been friends with this man for years, a friend with this man for years, and yet you couldn't figure out his character, you couldn't figure out his morals and principles, you couldn't figure out the people that he's been around, he spent his time with, like what? Did you not see if he's dating other people? Did you not see if he's going out? And I personally cannot believe that if you've been around a person for years, that you really don't understand the person enough. I mean, there are cases where, people will hide themselves really well, but I just think that you're not looking at them well enough. You're not vetting them enough. You are not understanding these people enough. Now, because for me, I don't let people into my circle unless I know them well. So let's say if they are cheaters, well, I knew that. I knew that that's the type of person they are. So, I would know the type of person they are, so I would know how to handle that. So if I knew that they were a womanizer, let's say if I'm a woman, and I knew this man was a womanizer, well, even though I don't condone those behaviors, and he's still my friend or whatever, I would know that this guy's a womanizer. I'm not dating him. I'm just his friend, although that's crazy. But yeah, I know this person like that. If she said that this man was her friend for years, and she didn't know that he was cheating, having sex with multiple women, that tells you that she's a poor judgment in character, which kind of shows, because the men that she lets into her circle, right, that she gives her numbers to, shows you that, you're a poor judging character. This is a problem with a lot of modern day women. They are poor judge of character. They don't vet men well, right? They don't ask the right questions. They don't get to know men really well. Because, to be honest, and this is my own theory, my own opinion, I think women don't really try to get to know men. How many times you hear that women, they don't try to get to know the men's feelings, men's thoughts, men's opinions? They don't, because they don't care. I believe most women just care about themselves. They only care about how the man treats them. They don't care about what the man's needs, his wants, his desires, his dreams, his aspirations, how he's feeling, his inner thoughts, all this shit. No, they don't. They don't really care that. I mean, glancery, they may ask, but they don't really care. They don't really dig on it. They don't really examine it. They don't really try a whole lot. They only care about how you treat them. That's it. That's the main gist. If you treat them well, great. They will ignore all the shit, right? They're not asking how you feel. They're not asking what you're thinking. They're not asking all that shit. Because in my life, personal and also what I've heard, I rarely ever heard a woman ever say, "What are you thinking?" I don't hear that. I rarely ever hear it, right? Because they're not interested. They don't really care about your deep thoughts. They don't care about your deep feelings. They don't care. They may sit there and accept what you give them, right? If you tell them your deep thoughts and stuff, but they're not asking for it. So this is the thing where I think a lot of women falter, is that they're not vetting men well enough because they're not putting in that effort.
Man, and he was so nice and caring and loving, and I found out he had a sex addiction. And I found out he was sleeping with multiple women unprotected behind my back, and that's scary. And the rise in STDs, which we don't talk about a lot in the Black community, I feel like we don't talk about that stuff. And I just feel like that's very common. They sleep around with us, they give us diseases, and they leave us with babies, and that's what they want us to hold down. Now, there are some good Black men out there. There are. But where I live at, unfortunately, the ones who are good are usually married, in a relationship, or gay. And then you have the ones that are left over. And I saw that. Someone said, could it be the type of man that you're dating? And the thing about it is I've dated all different types of Black men. It's not the same type. I don't have one specific type. If you treat me good and you're respectful and you have, something going for you, I'm going to give you a chance. I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, you have to make $100,000 a year. At least.
But she just said these men didn't have nothing going for them. I mean, this is the thing. I think this is a problem with a lot of women. They don't have self-reflection. They do not date different type of men. To be all honest, I doubt it. I really doubt it. Because really, she's only described the same type of men, right? The same type of men. They don't have the shit together.
Make a decent amount what I make, but I have given lots of Black men a chance. The last guy, he was 50-50. I don't even like 50-50, but I did it because I liked him. I split shit with him. Why? Because I liked him. But then I found out he was sleeping around on me with 3 different women. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you give niggas chances, and then you find out they're doing that shit behind your back. And I'm like, so not only was I going 50-50 with your ass, but then you was fucking 3 bitches behind my back, and not only 3, there's probably another one. We don't even know. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like with the white men, my friends are like, well, they're going to cheat on you too. I'm like, well, would you rather cry in a Bentley or a Toyota? Because the white men, they're at least going to be providing and paying the bills and taking care of things. The Black men will cheat on you and you'll catch them. And they'll just be like, oh, well, I guess you caught me. You want to take me back or not? That's how it is here. And I feel like people are going to hate on me and be like, whatever, but I know I'm not lying because I know my friends' experiences. And with the white guys I have dealt with, even the negative experiences, they're still more respectful than the Black men here. I'm being honest. The Black men here, where I live at, is a college town. So it's like a lot of white women, like a lot of interracial couples. Like my daughter, she's biracial. Her dad's German and Black. So she's biracial. And
is that really biracial?
Black men here, they do.
I mean, she has like, I don't know, a quarter German. That's not really biracial, is it? I guess. That's the thing, right? I think this woman lack self-reflection. I guarantee you, she's really dating the same type of men. Men that go after. You got see. This is the problem with women, right? There is not a large percentage of men that would even go up to a woman and talk to her. Let alone a wide diversity of men that would do that. There's not. I mean, it's a very small, infinitesimal amount of men, right, that would have the courage to even approach a woman and ask her for her number. Really, there is. So, even in the percentage that do ask you out, they don't represent even a marginal amount of men. I really want her to. I would like her to tell about the types of men she dated. What type of men are they? Because a man that 50-50 is not really necessarily a type of man. That's a man that just don't want to provide. That's it. Right? It's not necessarily a type of man. You have men that, they're geeky men, jocks, they're alpha men, beta men. It's such a wide range of so many different categories of men, right? But you have to understand that it's hard to really distinguish what type of men you're dating because you're not vetting them well enough. That's just it. I think it just goes back. So the type of men she's, let's say, the overarching clear type of men she's dating, like she said, men that don't have their shit together, men that are not really working, right? That's what she said. Men that are not really provider types, not traditional types, right? So really, she's not dating any traditional men. That's how it is. So she's not dating that type of man.
A lot of white women. I have no problem with that. But the problem here is they put the white woman on a pedestal, like, oh, if you're black, you should be happy. You should be feeling lucky that I'm even giving you the time of day because you're a black woman. That's kind of how they treat us here. Like, we're the last option. And when we do get picked, we should just be grateful with whatever they give us. And when you're a woman who has something going for yourself, a black woman at that, and you say, I don't want to put up with this. I have standards. I have boundaries. Then the black men are like, oh, well, I guess your ass is going to be single. And I'm like, you know what? I would rather be single than put up with you. And so that's what.
Let's say that this is a sad example of a woman that's very trauma filled. She's been through so much that you can see, it through her personality, through her interactions, right? And this is the problem, right? Of body count, of not waiting until marriage to give your body to a man, to have children with a man. These are the consequences of those possible actions of just giving you, not vetting men well, right? Giving your body to men that, that you barely know or you haven't vetted well enough. You can see the trauma that she's had. So definitely any man that deals with her will pay for the mistakes, right, of other men. Will pay for the mistakes that she have made with other men. Will pay for the mistakes that she made picking, allowing these terrible men into her life. So let's say even if a good man, right, a good traditional man comes into her life, with her, I think, kind of toxicity, with her views on life, with her attitude, with her just her energy, man might be turned off by it. It's like, why would I even provide for this one, right? She's already, sadly, she's a single mother, right? So she shows her mistake already. It's just too much that I don't even want to deal with. Could be.
Why? I don't date black men all the time. However, if there is a nice black man watching this live that has their shit together and lives around the Columbia, St. Louis, Kansas City area, then that's different. But I'm telling you, Kendra, it's horrible. It's horrible out here.
Okay. Yeah, because I want to give you the space to speak freely. So let me just ask you this question. So the reason I asked you, when did you stop dating black men? Because I guess my question is, if you now are dating outside of your race, why are you still single? Like, why didn't you settle down with somebody outside of your race if that's what you're focusing on? Wait 8 seconds before you respond.
Honestly, it's by choice. I just went on a date this evening. I just got back from a date. And it's not because, I want to say, like, just because you go out with someone and they're nice and you like them and the vibe is right, doesn't mean that that person's for you. There's plenty of times you can go on a date and you like someone and you're cool, but it's just like, I'm not feeling it. And there's been times where I have maybe tried a relationship and I'm like, okay, it's just not there. I feel like a lot of times people just don't want to be single so bad that they'll just kind of jump into the first thing that they see or the first thing that they find. And I know a lot of people are like, well, why are you on this dating thing? I like your show and I watch it, and I've actually been on here before. You probably don't remember me. It was like a year ago.
I guarantee you, right, most women have met the man that they supposedly think that they want, right? Let's say a man that, in her example, right, I'd say most likely she's met the man that has his shit together, traditional, likes her, right? Not cheating, monogamous, but she doesn't have the vibe, right? He's not that charming. He's not that funny. He's not that good looking. He's not that tall. Whatever, right? She doesn't have the vibe. So you have to see that even if you put the man in front of her that she supposedly wants, she may not want him because she doesn't want he's disqualified in other areas. So women want perfection. They want this man to have 99.9% of the package, right? Looks, height, charm, money, values, family, all this shit. When just don't expect perfection. I mean, if you can get like 60, 70, even 80% of what you're asking for, jump at it.
A while ago, and a bunch of men from like Africa and stuff were trying to talk to me, which I don't live in Africa, so but I feel like I just want to make sure, because I was married before. Me and my husband, we divorced in 2017. I probably should add that in there. We've been divorced for a while, and I want to make sure the next person that I get with, the next person that I bring around my child, is somebody that
I want to know who
really
initiated that divorce.
I'm not necessarily like in a rush to just jump into something, but I feel like maybe by getting on here, my pool will be better, or like a bigger pool of men to like get exposed to than what's here in Columbia, because it's a really small town, and I feel like, you know what I mean?
I get that. So again, I'm still just kind of confused because I'm trying to see if you're open, if your truth is your truth, and you have the right to decide what you want. But if you don't want to date black men and you made this decision whenever you made it, like, are you saying the experience in other races is better? And if so, why hasn't that become?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I have met guys of other races that are nice. They just weren't for me. Like, it wasn't like a relationship thing. Maybe we liked each other and we just weren't vibing like that. Like, it was just like, oh, it's friends. And then I work a lot too. I work at the hospital, so I work 50, 60-hour weeks. So I'm not going to lie, like, my dating life has been kind of non-existent lately because I've worked so much. And then I have my daughter because I share custody. So my primary focus has not been dating and relationships right now. I go on dates.
Okay, so we kind of got that. So I'm going to move forward, but is there a specific race that you
No, I'm not saying that I won't ever date black men. I'm saying that primarily since I've been living here, I don't.
Well, girl, I don't know if black men don't want to date you.
I mean, that's just my experience. I'm sure there's plenty of black men who feel like we're ghetto and ratchet and loud and all types of stuff. So, I mean, it's everyone's experience. That's just my experiences with men. Like I said, I'm sure there might be a decent black man out there who has their shit together. I just haven't met one here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all you can do is speak from your experience. Let's keep going. So this is Taylor, Missouri, 30, Aquarius, 8-year-old, and she works in ER. So
I want to say this, right? It kind of goes to the point where I was saying that she's a terrible judging character. She couldn't even make her marriage work. I'm assuming that her child is from that marriage. And here's another assumption that I'm assuming that she broke up that marriage, or she filed for the divorce. So, in my book, it's a mark on her. That this is a mark on her because she chose to be with this man, chose to accept this man's proposal and married him, signed the paper, and she chose to give this man a baby. I'm assuming that that's who the baby belongs to. You did all these things by choice, and yet it still failed. And then you chose to break it. You didn't follow like I said, I believe unless it was an abusive relationship, I can't see the reasoning for divorce. Maybe, I guess, cheating. But I mean, if one mistake, but I mean, cheating is fine too. I mean, I understand you're divorcing that cheating. Unless it's abuse or cheating, I don't see the reasoning for divorce. So you couldn't make that work. How is that how's that view as a man? I'm seeing this like that's not a good image, right? Pretty much everything about her is really a poor image that, you know, is like, I don't see her as very tempting to be with, right? She's cute and all, right? But I just see her personality, her way of thinking, you know, is very problematic, chaotic, as Kevin Samuels always say, is that this is a woman that's very chaotic, and you could see that with her, right? You could see the trauma that she's been through, and you could see that how it's affected her life and affected her mentality. And I question her as a ride or die woman, right? A woman that will respect the vows of marriage. Because she's already broken it once, who's to say she won't break it again? Because this is something that I can never understand some people, both men and women. If you choose to marry someone, you obviously been with that person for years. And then you jump at one of the highest level commitment, probably next to having a child with the person. And then you switch up and break that commitment. It always flabbergasts me that how could you be with someone for so long, choose to marry them, and then choose to break it up? I mean, I can never understand that.
So we kind of got the kind of man you're looking for. What are your deal breakers? Wait 8 seconds. And Taylor, bring the camera up a little bit.
It's just the way, like, how I'm sitting it. That's all I can sit it on, kind of. I mean, okay. I feel like, obviously, like, liars, cheaters, someone who's just not financially stable, someone who isn't really looking for something serious, kind of like playing games, and then no alcoholics, no past out. Like, if you're sober, that's okay, but I've dated someone who was an alcoholic, and I was in an abusive relationship, so I'm not comfortable dating anyone with a drinking problem or drug problems.
She's been through so much. The more and more this woman talks, it's just trauma after trauma after trauma. And the next man will pay for it. It's just...
That's about it.
Okay. Does he have to, well, I guess you can still answer this. Does he have to look a certain way and make a certain amount of money? Wait 8 seconds.
No. I'm not super physical. Like, it's not like you have to be, like, so good looking or anything. I think it's just, like, there has to be an attraction between us. Just, like, I mean, it doesn't have to be a specific height. I'm 5'7.5", so he could be, like, 5'8", 5'9". That doesn't matter. He could have long hair, short hair. I actually have locks underneath of this, so he can kind of be whatever. Just take care of yourself. Just be clean cut. Mm-hmm. Underneath, this is a lace front. I have locks under this.
Ooh, locks, black girl.
No,
won't date a black.
I didn't say I won't date one. I said that I have not met one who is serious and who has their life together and who really wants a relationship. Like, they're all just kind of play around here and they don't have their shit together. I'm attracted physically to black men. That's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm not attracted to them. It's almost like if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's insanity. If you keep running into black men who aren't great and don't treat you well, and all different types of black men, are you going to keep going back? Probably not.
The more I look at her, she's more average.
Let me jump in. Because that's almost like, first of all, I honor your experience. So let me say that. I honor your experience. But it's almost like a white person having bad experience with black people and then saying the whole black race is bad because of their experience. Now, we would know that's not true. You cannot hold us accountable for your experience, the whole entire race. Now, I do acknowledge your experience, and that's real. And I also do believe black women might have to consider dating outside their race. I'm a black woman. I would never date outside my race. I went on 2 dates with a white man, and it just wasn't for me. Like, I am black woman, but I've also had very horrible experiences with black men.
So I think it's ridiculous, right? Look at what this is. This is the part where I call Kendra out. Where's the hypocrisy and the delusion in what she's just said? And I don't deny her experience, right? I don't deny she had bad experience with white men. Yeah, she did. But she said, okay, I had bad experience with white men, but I will never date outside my race again. But I've had bad experience with black men. So what? So I would never date black men again. Because if you had bad experience with white men, so you say that you would never date white men. But then you, on the same token, you said you had bad experience with black men, but you only want to date black men. The hypocrisy in what she just said. It's ridiculous that, I mean, I think it's ridiculous that Kendra thinks like that. I mean, I respect that her preferences, right? She only is attracted to black men. Whatever, I don't care, right? I make a point is that the hypocrisy in what you just said. Because you had bad experience in dating 2 white men, you will never date other white men. Okay? Do what you want. But you had bad, or I'm assuming she said equally, well, not, she didn't say exactly, but just equally bad experience with black men, but you will only date black men. It just, where's the logic in that? So now you're just being kind of like a bit of racist, right? Just because now, I'm going to assume the interaction that I had with these 2 white men for all white men. And I'm not trying to support white men because I give a shit. But I'm more saying like the hypocrisy of how women think. Okay? I've had plenty of bad experience with black women. But I like dating black women. So I'm not going to say, because I've had bad experience with white women, with black women, I will never date black women again. I will only stay with my race. Because I've had bad experience with Asian women. But that don't mean that I would not date an Asian woman. I literally don't mind the color of skin my significant other would have. I don't. I care about the type of person they are. So the 2 white men that she dated, the type of person that they were terrible. That's just it. That's what I would get from it. Instead of their color, the skin tone.
I think the challenge is this. It's not that I'm okay with you being open, because you should be open. But to put a blanket of all black men are bad because of the experience you had. Well, that's what what did you say?
I have not.
Okay, to be clear,
here where I live, that have their shit together. And as I said before, there could be someone watching or a decent black man. I'm just saying that what's here where I live, it's not good options. It's just not. And it's not me downing all black men. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the options here, they're not good. Every black woman I know, the black men that they deal with are trash. I don't know any black woman here, unfortunately, dealing with a black man who hasn't cheated, who hasn't abused them, who hasn't, you see what I'm saying? Like, and even when I grew up, I didn't grow up watching a good black man. My dad cheated on my mom all the time. So that's what I'm saying. When you're raised in a community where all you see is black men treating their women like shit, and then you grow up, and then you date, and then you're around a bunch of black men treating you like shit, but other races are treating you like you feel like you should be treated, that's gonna make you want to go outside of your race. It's not that I don't feel like I would want to end up with a black man, because that would be great. I would love to. I just can't find one that meets what I...
Well, girlfriend, yeah, he's biracial father, right? So, I mean, he's black and white. He's part Caucasian. So
everything
why didn't that work out?
Paper is not going to always be good in real life. Just he's phenotypically and what on paper looks good, right? But we're not together for a reason. He didn't treat me right. He didn't treat me with respect, and it's not.
And you feel like that was the black side and didn't treat you with respect? That's not been the white side.
What I think is this. I feel like every time black women say something negatively about black men and their experiences, where it's almost like we're judged, like we're not allowed to feel the way that we feel. I understand that you like, you work for the black man. I'm not saying that they're not great black men out there. I'm just saying that realistically, the majority of black men that are in my surrounding area are not. It's just like,
yeah. Okay, because that can be fair.
That's not.
Are you going to relocate to a better
It's
area?
not my choice. I have a child. I share custody, so I'm kind of like stuck here, and that's the part that sucks because I can't move, and neither can he because we share our. It's just a bunch of legal stuff. So if I could move, yes, I would probably have a lot better chance. And I think the thing about it is, even with my ex-husband, like I left him. And he admitted, like, I could have treated you better. I could have did this, this, and that. We got married really young. I was 21. How many people get married super young and it doesn't work out? You know what I mean? Now I'm at a place where...
I think that's stupid. I think that's utterly stupid, right? You're so young that you can have sex and have a kid. But getting married, that's what you want to blame being young for? This is like... You were adult enough to have kids and have sex. You weren't adult enough to stay with a marriage. I mean, vows are pretty simple, right? Through good and bad. I mean, you chose to be with this man. You chose to have a child with this man. Wake up. You chose this man. He all of suddenly he treated you bad. That's why I can never understand about women who get in marriages, right? So you're telling me this man all of a suddenly treated you bad. And then all suddenly he treated you bad and he just never changed for years. I mean, maybe. For me, I see it as a gradual thing that people can see the change. People ignore the red flags, right? Let's say they saw this man as being abusive or something that like he's violent, but they ignore it and still marry the man. So, no, you knew it. You still married him because you ignored it. It's just she's just showing more and more that she's just trauma filled, right? And it just comes out, exudes out of her.
I'm still responsible. I only have one child. You know what I mean? I'm still dating and trying to live. Your 20s is when you're supposed to date and have different experiences and make mistakes. Clearly, I'm 30 now. I've done those things. So I'm ready and I'm willing and I'm looking for someone. And have I tried to date black men? Yeah, I just told you. I've seen a black man last year. It did not work out because he was lying to me and sleeping around with me.
Call that
is
talking about a mistake.
Not necessarily something that all black men are going to do, but it's a common trend here with the black men. They just sleep around on you. They lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was also broke. He lied to me about his income. Told me, I'm about to make 6 figures. I made more money than him. And it was just like he was faking and lying and doing all this stuff, and he didn't even have to do all that. He could have just been honest with me, and it would have been okay. But he lied, and then he was sleeping around on me. So I'm saying, every experience I've had with a black man, he was like the icing on top of the cake for me. I'm just like, you see what I'm saying? Okay. I have no problem with black people. I'm black, clearly. I love black love. I would love to find a black man. I'm just having a really hard time finding it. And yes, the white men that I have encountered have treated me better. And that's just my experiences. And you're not the only one.
But I go back to that. The white men have treated you better, but they're still single. So, I mean, but hold on, because I want to respond to that, because that's where you lose me. You're saying the white, hold on, I'm going to let, we can't over talk because we have a delay, and I want to make sure you're heard. But that's where it gets challenging, because you say the white men have treated you better, but they still haven't made you a girlfriend or locked you down. So what is the situation? Wait 8 seconds and then respond.
Okay, so it's not necessarily like that they haven't, because I have had relationships with white guys. They're usually in because of me. The white guys that I've had relationships with, while they treated me nice, while they might have been good to me, yes, some of them might be clingy and be like, I love you in 2 weeks. And I'm like, that's too much for me. Or some of them might be controlling. The race of a person doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to stay with them. It's not like I'm saying.
She expects perfection. She wants a man to love her how... This is the thing. This is the problem with women. Right? Don't matter about... This is why I support black men too. Because it don't matter about the race. We all, men in general, experience the problems. Right? You don't want to be loved by... You want a man to love you how you want him to love you. Right? In saying that how you should be loved is what the man should do, right? So how you view, like, say that I want a man to always give me gifts. This is how he should always give me gifts. Because you're not letting the man show you love how he knows it, right? Where he loves, like, where, you know what, he just texts you when he texts you, calls you when he calls you. No, he should do it on my time, right? When I want it, he should always be there. This is the thing. Women expect men to just fall in line. Be how they want them to be. Expect perfection. And this is a problem with a lot of women. It's like,
white guys are better than black, or Indian guys are better than black. I'm saying my experiences have been better. You can have better experiences with somebody and still not end up with them. It doesn't mean that just because I am having a lot worse issues with black men that I don't have issues with white guys, or Indian guys, or Asian guys. I date all nationalities. It's not just white men. But what I'm saying is the options here for men who have their stuff together. Unfortunately, the black men are kind of at the bottom. Like, a lot of them they don't have a good job. They're not taking care of themselves, their kids. They're just their normal everyday stuff. Like, honestly, you literally have to ask for the bare minimum here from our black men. And they can barely do that. And then when they just do the bare minimum, like have a job and their own place and a car, then they want you to be grateful for that. Like, oh, I have my own stuff, so you should be happy. And also, when you make more money than them, that's another issue I run into. Making more money than the black guys that I date. They treat you differently. They act like, oh, well, I don't got to pay for you. You got it. Why do I need to do this? They want to go 50-50 on everything. They want to treat you like a man. Why should I do this for you? Because you make more money than me. I know you got it. That's what I'm saying. The white guys, never have I been out with the white man or Indian man or ever have to pull my wallet out, have to ask them for anything. Unfortunately, it seems like a lot of even black women here, it seems like the generations before us that raised us, they're not raising us and teaching us how to love and how to be in healthy relationships. They're not teaching us about therapy. They're not teaching us about how to communicate with each other or talk to each other. And I feel like other races, it seems like their parents instill that in them. I can have a conversation with a white man or an Indian man or anybody else that I can't have with a brother or a black man because they're defensive. They have their guard up. They don't want to speak to you. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different. And it's harder to be with a black man here today than it is with other races because I feel like they're just more open. And that could also be for me being a military child. Because like I said, I grew up in the Army. I've been all over the world, different nationalities.
So now hear me out. I totally get what you're saying. And the thing that has been clear,
this is a long
the quality
episode.
of black men that you desire is not in your environment. And I don't live in your environment, so I'm going to take your word for it. But where you lose me at is you dated outside your race, and according to you, you're leaving these men. You're able to talk to them. They come well established, like they're not cheating on you. You've dated Asian, white. So it's almost like, well, what would please you? You dating those men, and those men you say you walk away from, but not because of the reasons of the black man. It's like, what is gonna satisfy you enough to be in a relationship? Because if you're dating outside of, you have to wait. Because I sit and listen. If you're dating outside of your race, which we've got, and I get that. I'm just still trying to figure out why the hell you're still single, because you have the other options, but you don't want those options either. Wait 8 seconds.
So
she expects perfection.
Not being happy enough. Some things just don't work out.
It's being happy enough.
It's not good enough for me. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I dated these guys. Either we vibed, we didn't vibe, or maybe it just didn't go anywhere. Maybe we didn't have chemistry, but we were cool. We liked each other. You see what I'm saying? Or maybe, like I said, I dated a guy who was like, I love you after 2 weeks. That was a bit fast for me. So I was just like, that's a little bit too much. What I'm saying is, even though those experiences didn't end in me staying in a relationship with them, they were still better outcomes than what I've dealt with black men. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Okay, we're gonna keep going. So does the guy have to make a certain amount of money? Wait 8 seconds.
I don't think we have to keep going. Jeez.
I don't want a woman like to be in a relationship with. No, I need like a man, a strong, manly, man, not a woman. Yeah.
It is. Did we do the Kendra cam already, Taylor? I don't think we did.
Let's
do the Kendra.
Let me turn the camera around.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we see you, Taylor. All right, Taylor. All right, so don't forget we got this lag, so we gotta wait 8 seconds after me. When was your last relationship, sweetheart?
Oh.
She can't even follow directions, right? To be honest, I think this is a difficult woman. I mean, and she's shown it. She's chaotic. Kendra was on the point, right? That even though she dated men outside of her race that didn't have the same problems of black men, it still wasn't enough for her. They still didn't vibe with her. She wasn't happy with it either. So I get where Kendra was coming from. Even you finding other men, right, other type of men, you still weren't happy with it. So what would make you happy? It's hard to decide, hard to understand. What would make this woman happy?
Sorry.
Taylor, you have to wait 8 seconds.
My last relationship was a year ago.
Was it a man
He was a man.
or was it a man, right?
So,
okay, was he black? It was a black guy, right?
But I was seeing someone after that. That was the black guy that I told you. We weren't in an official relationship. I was.
Okay, fair enough. You don't have to answer, but I'm gonna ask. When's the last time you was intimate with someone? Wait 8 seconds.
Yeah, I'm gonna decline to answer that.
I've said it before. Women decline that means that she's done it within the month to about 4 months. Because from all watching all this, right, women will be embarrassed or find it not a good answer to say that I just had sex last month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. They would say kind of like half a year because it sounds like a lot. So
no worries. Taylor, what are 3 flaws you have to work on? Wait 8 seconds.
Okay. I think that I have been working on it, jumping into relationships too quickly, which is a problem that I have had in the past, and I've been doing pretty well because I've been single for a year, a little over a year. I would say divulging too much of myself, early on, because I feel like that's screwed me in a lot of relationships. I tell men, all my deepest, darkest, because, you think you're connecting with them, but really you're just giving them information to use when they want to manipulate you, because that has happened, for sex or whatever. And I also feel like
she's been through so much trauma.
I'm very direct, I'm very blunt, in how I speak, and I'm very honest about how I feel. And I feel like sometimes the way it comes off might sound rude or disrespectful, but I may not mean it that way. So that is definitely something that I'm working on within myself. And if I'm wrong, I'm always gonna call myself out and be like, you know what, that was messed up. I shouldn't have said that, So, but that is something that I'm definitely working on. And then I know you said, oh, go ahead. Oh no, you're good.
Okay, I apologize.
I'm gonna say 4. I think having sex too soon is something that also, I brought up earlier, that is something that I've been working on. That's why I'm not gonna be having sex, because I like to have sex. I'm sure everybody does, but I think that sometimes I think like a guy when it comes to sex, and I'm not thinking about the emotional effect that it's gonna have on me when I sleep with a man. Even though I might tell myself, oh, I'm just gonna sleep. It's not that big of a deal. When I have sex with someone, it's really an intimate thing for me. So I've definitely been trying to dial that back and waiting a lot longer, than a couple weeks or.
I believe your father is a black man, correct? So what are your thoughts as a black man? What are your thoughts on your father? Wait 8 seconds.
I don't really have a relationship with my dad, actually. I don't have a relationship with either one of my parents. Okay. I think it's because like I was talking about earlier, and I know people are like, oh, this isn't a therapy session, but like for real, we don't talk about a lot of stuff in the Black community. We don't talk about abuse. We don't talk about, disrespect. Like, and I grew up in a generation of when your parents can kind of just say whatever to you and treat you any kind of way, and you're just supposed to take it. And I feel like my mom, she came from a generation of abuse. So the things that my mom did to me or allowed to happen to me, or even as an adult.
This video is gonna be going on for a long time. It's already an hour, which I think is ridiculous that I did this an hour. So if you want to watch, more of it, you can just read the title and just look for it on Kendra's video, on her channel. All I gotta say, this is a woman that is a clear example of a trauma-filled woman. A woman that if you be with, you'll be paying for the mistakes of men of her past, which is not very tempting for men in her future, right? So any man that really comes up to her is just trying to see if they could break her vows of celibacy, right? But I doubt she will have a man that wants true commitment with her. Yeah, that's it. It's crazy. All right, later, guys.